Hi guys, and welcome back to my third channel. Welcome back to Podmas, kind of, even though I failed it. Oh well, I promised I'd do this. Why are you showing me an advert again? Are you joking? A double advert too. I had the same adverts. I said that I would do this, so here I am doing it. Here is the infamous Matt Rife on Why He'll Never Be Cancelled episode of Cancelled with Tana Mojo. I have to read the comments. Yes, all the top comments are just like, this is aged beautifully. The fact that this man acted like this was his first time meeting Brooke is insane, because I'm loving me some Matt Rife slander, and I don't know if you guys have seen one of the recent podcasts that they did where Brooke revealed that they'd actually been dating secretly, as if that's such a shocking surprise. It was very obvious who Mr. DC was. I don't watch the podcast. What are you guys talking about? And in this episode, they'd already had their dating history, but he acted like he didn't know who she was. And this was after he body shamed her on a podcast called Stiff Socks, knowing... I don't know why I'm doing that. He didn't call in to body shame her. He went on a podcast. He was making fun of a clitoris. And basically he was making fun of hers, but without saying the name, even though he'd been at hers that morning. This kind of thing. So anyone who didn't think he's a misogynist, you were wrong. So let's go through and watch this, because I'm sure this is aged beautifully.
Hello.
Whenever you're ready.
Tana, stop laughing. Stop laughing at mid-men doing nothing. It's kind of like I'm on their podcast by me doing this and injecting myself in the middle of this.
We have the world's most requested guest today.
We really do.
The most cancelable guest. This is
Absolutely.
perfect. So fitting.
Most cancelable guest. He thinks so highly of himself, but it's like, for someone who's so mid, I hate that I say that now. It's a new thing that I say. For someone that gives very little, he really thinks of himself as, I'm the most cancelable guest. No. Honestly, I think if they had JK Rowling on, that would be worse. Or a few of the unmentionables, so I'm not going to bother mentioning, just a few of those types of men. Or even a Onision. You know, like, behave. Thinks so much of himself.
Matt Rife is here, and I'm really hoping you get canceled today and not me, and I'm starting that off.
Well, good on you, Tana.
Every time you try to go on a podcast, or every time you do go on a podcast, like with
Say some stupid ass
stiff
shit.
sock situation. Are we allowed to talk about that?
I mean, you can if you want to.
I just don't like his vibe. He's sitting there and acting as though, when they talk about stiff socks, as if he wasn't horrible about her vagina.
Like, they were trying to actually look up like things I've been canceled for, but when they look up Tana canceled, the only thing that comes up is the podcast.
That's
instead
genius.
of all my... And I'm not smart enough to think of that. Like,
That's like Walt Disney and Frozen.
That's what I did for my first special, OnlyFans. I labeled it OnlyFans because I knew so many people were Googling if I had an OnlyFans. So it drove all the traffic to the special.
See, it's always him talking about his looks. So many people are Googling if I had an OnlyFans. Like, how would you know that? How would you know that? Unless you were looking it up yourself. He saw up his own ass. And for what? An allegedly man-made jawline. I'm allowed to body shame him. He was mean about a vagina. What am I going to do? Oh, I hate a big clit. What am I going to do? Play fun war with it? What am I going to do? Play fun war with your chin?
like not caring about canceled culture and just
Dude,
like...
you can't. Like, the world is full of the most insane people in the entire world. And
The world is full of the most insane people in the entire world. Wow, what a wordsmith. What a Shakespeare.
if I were to care about 7 billion different people's individual feelings about their reaction to my jokes,
Yeah.
I'd kill myself.
You'd literally kill yourself.
Yeah, that's
100%.
insane. It's an impossible task.
I feel
Yeah, but everyone knows that though. Why are we reinventing the wheel here? Everyone knows that you can't pander to everyone. It's insincere if you attempt to pander to everyone. There's a difference between just being a bit considerate towards like an overall feeling rather than pretending that you're going to be able to care about 7 billion people. This isn't anything groundbreaking that he's saying. I don't know why he's heralded as such. I don't know why he thinks that he's some sort of like champion of the comedy world. Make edgy jokes as long as they're funny, as long as they're good, as long as they're clever, as long as they're... I've spoken about this before, the difference between punching up and punching down. Like George Carlin was very edgy and he always punched up. I ain't gonna have an issue with that. I love George Carlin.
But I think that like there was a second in my like YouTube era that I like succumbed to that and I was just apologizing left and right.
Absolutely
And I woke up one day and I was like, I don't want to live like this.
Do you know what changed for her. She made 10 million from OnlyFans. So now, like, you know, because before, if she was in trouble financially, it did impact her. Now it doesn't. So she doesn't need to care. It doesn't matter. She's got a bunch of money. That's the difference.
As you get older and the more mature you get, you recognize what's okay and not okay and things.
Don't you dare talk to me about maturity. You're literally beefing with a 6-year-old right now on TikTok. Is the maturity in the room with us, Matthew? Why has he got a hat on with his own name? Is it in case he forgets? Like when your mother used to write your name on your underpants as a kid.
I'm really trying to transition into that era of just saying whatever the fuck I want and not apologizing.
Yeah, it's not about saying whatever you want and like damn the consequences. I saw a TikTok and I agreed with it. I forget who did it. There's a lot of people on TikTok, don't come at me, yeah, where they said something about like regarding Matt Rife and a social contract. Like when some people make edgy jokes, you know that they're not meaning harm by it because they've signed a social contract and you understand that about the person. But with Matt Rife, it's coming from this place of, I feel like I've said this a million times already, but like, because I did a podcast talking about this. His special, when he opened with the domestic violence joke, he's punching down at the woman. Which, it was on my podcast, where these girls, they tried to defend it like a podcast ago by saying, oh, well, Theo Von has a joke about domestic violence. It's like, but he doesn't really. Theo Von said a joke on Joe Rogan about how men who drink Monster's Energy go home to punch. And that's making the fun at the expense of the person, because it's saying that they're the bad person, like, and that's the type of people who drink Monster. Like it's quite clear. I don't need to go into that too much. Whereas Matt Rife doing the domestic violence joke, and essentially the punchline is just, oh well, if she was in the kitchen, if she was good like in the kitchen, she wouldn't have got hit. That's punching down. Ironic to say that. It's making fun of the victim rather than the aggressor. And there's a difference, and there's like a fine line, right? I have no idea why I started talking about this. That's it, social contract. And he did that deliberately and said this is for the boys because he wants to detach himself from his female audience that got him there in the first place, got him to these levels. Yeah, he was a comedian before, but when he started putting things on TikTok, he blew up, yada, 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 thanks to his mainly female demographic, right? So it's like, that's weird that you've done that, because people die to have that kind of audience in the first place, Matthew. Like, people, like, women will ride and die for you so hard and get you so far. These men that you're pandering to will not. They aren't going to care. Maybe they are caring at the moment because it's somehow become this free speech thing of, oh well, a joke is a joke and cancellation and blah blah blah. They care at this moment. These men you're pandering to are not going to care in 6 months' time, because there's always a new cancellation. There's always a new, oh, this person's a victim of cancel culture and free speech and Jordan Peterson, blah blah blah. There's always a new person every single week with that thing, right? They ain't gonna give a shit about you in 6 months' time. Are you mad? Are you mad, bruv? So yes, Matthew Rife did not sign the social contract wherein we would know his position on these things and we would trust that he's actually making a joke. Like all of these people, they're always like, oh, we have to keep reminding people that we're making jokes. And it's like, if you have to keep reminding people you're making jokes, maybe you're just not that funny. Maybe you should think more about your jokes, and then it's obviously a joke. Like, I can say things on here like, women, who needs them? And it's obviously a joke because my audience is female and I've signed that the social contract with them, and they know that that's obviously a joke, and I am biting the hands that support me. He's really not as smart as he thinks he is. I can't believe I've managed to record for 15 minutes and yet I'm 3 minutes into this podcast. They should just invite me on.
You can't. People are going to find problems in literally every single thing that you say.
Absolutely.
And you just...
Here's the thing. In some ways, I agree. I do think most of the time it's better not to apologize, because there will always be people that will find issues in what you're saying and how you're apologizing. I've done it before on my main channel, and like, Tana did an apology once and I think I reacted to it because it was just funny. It was like she was angry and reading off her script. There's always going to be people like that. There are always going to be people for which it was never good enough and you never should have done the bad thing in the first place and you can't change and yada yada yada. So in some ways I do agree, but you have to be able to reflect, and I don't think he's capable of reflection, to be honest. I think he's too obnoxious. So it's like, okay, don't apologize, do you, Matthew? But then stop biting people's heads off on social media and digging that hole worse for yourself. Stop looking insecure by reacting to 6-year-olds. And by the way, with that one, look into it if you don't know what I'm talking about. The misogyny really popped out, didn't it? when he turned around and said, your mum buys your presents with her OnlyFans money. And the mother wasn't an OnlyFans worker, but he immediately tried to, because in his head he's degrading her by calling her a sex worker. It's just like the new modern way of calling all women whores, isn't it? That's what he was doing. And I'm not saying I believe that, but I think that that's his intention. That's what he was doing with it. Arguing with a 6-year-old, arguing with a plastic surgeon, and like who didn't even at him. So airing himself out. Like, if you're going to go down the route of I'm not apologizing for anything, okay, then stop crying like a little baby on social media and stop making yourself look stupid. Just like stand by it. Be like, no, I'm not going to apologize. Move on. Don't like get insecure over little kids and plastic surgeons, babe. Like, God, he's so annoying.
Yeah, but the ones who keep the lights on, thank you.
Shout out to them. Shout out to the lights. A lot of extra lights in here, by the way.
So
way too much.
The people who are keeping your lights on, Matthew, are the same people that you're having a go at the moment. So
It was so hard to get you on this podcast.
Sorry.
No. I respect it. I think it's cool.
I'm kind of confused because in the episode where Brooke was talking about her experience dating Matt Rife, Tana was being very much like, I never liked him. I was always on your side. But she does that. She doesn't, if you're a friend of everyone, you stand for nothing kind of thing. She's a bit of a flip-flopper like that. I do wonder though, if Tana really cared that they'd had such a that Brooke had such a bad experience with Matt, why did they get him on this podcast? Because this was the first time Brooke said that she saw Matt since he ghosted her, essentially. No, not ghosted. He said, oh, I'll be back at yours later. And then he was like, actually, I'm not ready for a relationship. And then he got in a relationship like a month later. So I do wonder, what was the thought process behind this? Why was he invited on? I mean, people didn't like this episode even when it came out 6 months ago anyway.
Dude, gun to my head, the what animal is mutton? I'm dying every time.
Is it an animal?
I think it's a sheep. I think.
It's sheep, not lamb. Old sheep.
But it looks like that.
It is. It looks like the exact
It
same
looks
thing.
like that emoji.
What emoji?
You know the emoji. You know the emoji.
They're killing me.
Yeah.
Not only do I get to go to Australia in January, which I've
Absolutely.
never been.
Oh my God, how embarrassing. Like earlier this year, because I found Matt Rife's crowd work. I liked him. And then I was like, oh, he's going to be in London. Oh, I'll get tickets. And then I didn't. And then I got over it. And then I got over liking him, and then I stopped enjoying his stuff. And then even my mum, because my mum watched some of his TikToks and she was a bit like, isn't he a little bit misogynistic? And I was like, no, I've not really noticed. Like, even my mum noticed that he was sexist before I did. Isn't that something? Oh yeah, because I was planning out this video in my head earlier, and I was going to do like a whole, here's a breakdown of my parasocial relationship with Matt Rife. I found his content, I enjoyed it, I thought his crowd work was great, I was into it for a while, didn't really care about his actual stand-up itself, which, I feel similar to Theo Von though. I love his podcast appearances, I love when he's just yapping and he's out of context on TikTok, but his actual stand-up, not into it. Wouldn't pay to go. Sorry. I think he's a hilarious human being. I just don't think the stand-up's not for me. I went off Matt Rife before this episode came up because I remember I saw that he was on the episode and I thought, I'll try and give it a try. And then I got bored and then I stopped listening to it. And then I missed I knew something about he'd been sexist on the Stiff Stocks podcast, but I think it was taken down before I got a chance to have listened to it. So I was kind of like, not really surprising. And then he was on an episode of Joe Rogan, and as you know, I have a very parasocial, one-sided love-hate relationship with Joe Rogan, where I'll be all right with him for a while. He'll do the odd thing here or there that'll interest me, and then he'll get James Fox or Dan Aykroyd or a UFOologist onto his shows to talk about UFOs. And when he's got non-UFO expert guests on, he's always like, man, the universe is so big, there's got to be life, and have you heard about this, and have you heard about Göbekli Tepe, and have you heard about, and they found this and they found this. He will like try to convince people about UFOs and aliens, but as soon as he gets the experts on, he becomes the most annoying, pedantic devil's advocate you've ever heard. And I understand doing it to a degree, but he had James Fox on, and James Fox was trying to tell him about this man he'd met who had this footage of a UFO, and he was trying to tell him this story, and he kept interrupting to be like, yeah, but nah, it could be fake, or nah, it didn't happen. And it's like, bro has not even finished telling the story yet. Shut up, Joe. I'm getting so incensed thinking of it now. Like, I unfollowed him like for the 20th time because of that. How dare you? I've emailed James Fox's people to try to get him to come on my show, but why would he want to? It's a tiny, tiny, tiny podcast. And yet Joe Rogan gets him on and then is just so rude and dismissive, devalues, narcissist. Like, he's just so obnoxious. And then I'll unfollow him and be like, I'm done with him. He's really annoyed me. And then I'll see a few months later that he's got Michio Kaku or someone on. And I'll be like, okay, fine. And I'll listen to him and I'll be like, okay, we're fine. So at the moment, we're fine. But believe me, if he gets, I don't know, Bob Lazar or Stephen Greer on and he's being rude and dismissive, what does that have to do with Matt Rife? Oh, yeah, Joe had Matt Rife on and I was like, do you know what? This is how long ago it was. I was actually in a home and not a hotel. I was like, do you know what? I'm going to make a little spag bowl. I'm going to chop these vegetables and I'm going to listen to Matt Rife on Joe Rogan. And I was so underwhelmed. I think it was his last appearance on Joe Rogan. I was so underwhelmed by Matt Rife's podcast presence, shall we say. He gave absolutely nothing. I think I listened to the first hour and it was Joe breaking his back, carrying the conversation, talking about cryptids and animals and chimpanzees attacking people. And sometimes I really feel like I would love to sit with Joe Rogan and just talk about animals and cryptids and Loch Ness monsters and that type of thing and Bigfoot. I would love to just for an hour, and I feel like we could get on really well as long as we didn't talk about anything else. As long as, cancel culture and social justice, blah, blah, all these rehashed topics you've heard a million times. You've heard both sides a million times from a million different people. It's not interesting. It like the culture war, it's not interesting. It's boring. But what was my point? Oh yeah, Matt Rife, he was well boring on Joe Rogan. He was rubbish. He just gave nothing. And I don't know. Sometimes even the way he talks, the accent he has is a bit like, why are you talking like that? You're from Ohio, stop. So then the thing with him getting a Netflix special and everyone getting angry and he's on Jordan Peterson, having Jordan Peterson yap at him. Not that I've watched it. I think I saw H3H3 say that, to be honest, which I can believe because Jordan Peterson is a terrible interviewer because he thinks, here's my interviewing style. I'm just going to talk about me and my feelings. Also, these people, these toxic masculine people who are always on about masculine energy and men should do this and women should do that. And yet they all have these podcasts where they sit around and talk about their feelings like women. See, I can make those kind of jokes because 80% of you are women and you understand where I'm coming from. We signed that contract. So a part of me has kind of been living a little bit for seeing someone get everything they wanted and it crashing down so quickly because of their own hubris and actions. Like, I kind of love it.
And I get
so
that,
bad.
but I've said this exact statement so many times that, like, that's not how it works. Be patient. And also, I don't want to talk to everybody. You also can't do crowd work with everybody.
Yeah.
Most people are not interesting and not funny.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's usually the people who want the most attention doing that have nothing to offer. It's
For someone very successful, you're not very interesting either. I'm just going to say that. He gave nothing in a conversation with Joe Rogan about chimpanzees attacking people and about Bigfoot. You know? So you're not that interesting yourself.
a lot of the time only comics will know this. I can do the same set 20 times because I'm working on making that same show the best it can be. So like I'm fine tuning little tiny idiosyncrasy things.
Wow, rehearsing the same lines to get a slightly different effect each time. I've never heard of anyone doing that ever. You've blown my mind, Matthew.
Like you could watch me do the same set 20 times in a row and you might not notice a single difference that each time I'm changing the inflection on one word in the entire bit
to get it perfect for the special.
Exactly. And it's probably so minuscule. You and the audience members probably have no idea whatsoever, but like you do have to do that.
Stop talking down to them. It's so minuscule. You just wouldn't notice. I'm such a comedy genius that you just wouldn't notice. Your little pea brains, you couldn't perceive it. Like, you tell jokes for a living. Calm down.
Gay son or thought daughter?
Why does she ask this question? It's not interesting. Also, like, there's a negative connotation, an unspoken one, but it's there, of a thought daughter. So why would that be on the same level as a gay son? You know, because gay people can't control whether they're gay or not. So why would that be on the same level as someone being promiscuous and it being looked down upon? Like, as the question clearly is, like, leading to or referenced in that point. It's a stupid question.
Ooh. Gay son.
Marie.
Gay son for sure.
Why?
Okay.
Do you think women should drive?
Do you think she's doing that on purpose?
Thought daughter, I can't think of the pros.
Yeah. You can't think of the pros?
She could be a good dancer.
She could have a podcast.
Why is he laughing so much at him calling them thoughts?
As you accredit trauma to kind of your sense of humor and whatever. But
Tana, you know you can just say you credit. You don't need to say you a credit. I'm just trying to be helpful.
you also talk about your glow up a lot.
Up until like not even that long ago. If you look at pictures of me at like 19, completely different looking person.
Wow, what happened, Matthew? Was it the fact that you got veneers?
Go to like Dr. Hovsapien down the street?
Literally
or, like, what
not
happened?
a single fucking thing. I just kept getting older, I guess.
Really?
Really? Not a single thing. You know we can see pictures of your teeth before and after, yeah?
And it's so funny.
it.
The only thing I've ever done is my teeth. I got veneers, obviously, because my teeth were fucked when I was a kid.
Obviously. Well, at least, at least he admits that, sure.
But it's so fucking funny to me. Like, it's people's number one like online insult is like, well, at least I don't have plastic surgery. It's like, cool, neither do I.
Yeah.
I've had people who like claim to be actual plastic surgeons and be like, oh no, he's had this filler, he's had all this. I'm like, cool.
That's nice.
So you're not only lying, but you're wrong at your job.
I don't know, man. There's some pictures and it sure does look like his jaw ain't natural, because I'm not sure how you could naturally suddenly get a big jaw unless you were gurning a lot. Maybe we're all wrong. Maybe like he's not had plastic surgery and he just really likes MDMA.
Matt said on a podcast he doesn't like lip filler.
I don't mind lip filler, just don't go over top. Like, don't be so ridiculous about it.
How dare you say don't go OTT with lip filler whilst you're in the same room as Tana Mojo? Have some respect.
We were talking about this, I think, on this podcast. It was like from the front, I was like, yes, they're so juicy.
But
whatever.
you have a side
like,
profile.
And it just
From
in my
the
head, there was
side.
no side. Like there was a face here and a face here, and there was no
No.
side profile. And it was like from the side, my lips could have like gotten something from the fridge.
Tana Mojo is so much more entertaining than Matt Rife, the comedian. Ugh. Not me just realizing I have the same parasocial dynamic that I have with Joe Rogan, but with Tana Mojo, because she'll piss me off and she'll do something stupid and she'll annoy me. And then I'll be reeled back in because she's funny.
I definitely
haven't.
have.
No.
I'll never forget. One of the first times I got lip filler, I sucked dick that night. And it was just like, there was like an indent. There was like a dick print. Like for
Well,
like
they
a
tell you,
while.
they specifically tell you not to do it.
They tell you not to suck any dick afterwards?
I had to do it for the culture,
Because it's like,
though.
Not Tana saying she had to suck dick whilst with her newly filled lips for the culture. God, Rife wishes he was as interesting as her.
I was just watching you on Whitney Cummings. You did
Oh,
really
I love
good.
her.
We
Why,
loved
thank you.
it.
A lot of people thought there was tension.
Like sexual attention?
Yeah.
No, she's just so lovely. She actually called me this morning,
I'd fuck her.
actually.
She is, I would do
She's
anything
so
to
hot.
be with her. Like she is like, I'm in love with her, I think. It's
Yeah.
getting,
She's so sweet and she's so funny.
she's
And
everything.
So on one hand, on her recent podcast saying about how much she didn't like the episode and she didn't like Matt Rife and after how he treated Brooke. But then when you watch the episode, she's here being like, you and Whitney Cummings, some comedian, you had tension. Oh, she's everything. She's so beautiful. I love her. Like, do you know what I mean? I'd be a bit like, excuse me? Why are you saying all of this? Why are you talking about how hot a different girl is in front of this guy that I used to have sex with? Do you know, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm the toxic one. I don't know.
And what I love about her is like I should say one of the things I love about her is like she's not only is she wildly successful and a woman, but
Wildly successful and a woman. Cheers.
like she's also
drives a
hot.
car.
Like she's very attractive, which is not only frowned upon for comedy in general, but like as a girl especially. Like what
It's frowned upon in comedy to be hot. Oh, please, calm down. Stop. He's so talking about himself. Like, babe, why do you think so much for yourself? Like, you need to chill out. Put the mirror down.
I feel that. Do you ever feel
you
oppressed, sexualized?
yeah, it's super fucking annoying. I have people yell out at shows all the time.
Well, Matt, just remove the veneers and you won't be. Let's see how long you get people yelling out you're hot if you remove your veneers. Like, because he's complaining about it being such a problem because he's so hot. Remove the veneers.
Do the one-handed belt thing from TikTok, all
What?
that
Okay.
shit.
how did you get yourself into that? Like, where did that start?
I'm just playing a fuckboy character in this bit about girls having guy friends, and I was taking my belt off with one hand. I didn't even know that was like a seductive thing to do. It was just I'm holding a microphone with one hand.
I didn't even know that I was being attractive in that moment. Have you seen it? Of course he knows what he's doing and the audience is screaming and stuff and going crazy for it. Of course he knows. He's so beguiling. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
So
you did.
no, I didn't. I didn't know that was like it doesn't look sexy to me.
Yes, but if you watch the bit and watch what he's doing and how he's feeling like he knows, he knew what he was doing. Shut up. Self-inflicted boring problem.
I don't
It's-
think I could see a video of you on my For You page for like an entire year without that being like
Without the
fucking-
search bar saying
search
Matt
bar
Rife
saying.
undoing
And it would
belt.
have nothing to do.
And I
I could be
click it every
talking about
time.
my dead dad, and they're like,
absolutely.
Matt Rife takes his belt off with one hand.
While
Dad
talking
hangs
about
himself with it. Like they
Wow, that's the first That's the first thing he said that's made me smile. Not chuckle, but I went, fair enough. That's the first thing he said.
I would enjoy it if like people were sexualizing me that much. I feel like I'd be like, oh my god, me?
No, if you want to be respected in a different field, you can't have that. And that's honestly,
I feel like that makes us more respected in our particular field.
Yeah.
yes. You see, you get that
It
benefit.
keeps the lights on.
I'm like trying so hard not to have that be a part of
Then take your veneers off, Matthew.
me.
Would you
It's
ever
get
make an
ugly.
OnlyFans?
I'm trying.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Look how I'm dressed.
Okay.
I'm liking the
I'm
Matt
like,
hat.
put a few pounds on. I'm like, if you really wanted to be ugly, you could. Well,
That's true. Stop going to the gym. Take the veneers off. Dissolve the filler. Remove the chin implants.
No, I'm not gonna sell my body on OnlyFans. I'm not gonna do
Never?
it. No.
boring.
Ari kills me.
No, I'm saving. When the dick pic finally does get released, it's gonna be strategically timed. Thank God.
Absolutely.
The dick pics that he face tunes.
And your kids to
Tens of
college
thousands of
tenfold.
dollars, you wouldn't show someone your dick?
Just can't do it.
That's
Good for
ridiculous.
you.
But you'll face tune it and send it to girls for free.
Wait, if you woke up tomorrow with a vagina, what would you do?
Ooh, I started OnlyFans, of course.
Well, it depends what type of vagina, because if he had an outie, he'd just be repulsed by himself.
It's an investment immediately. I think it's the first
He's
thing I
so
would do.
financially responsible. What about you?
And then
Dick?
I'd let the
Tomorrow.
homies hit for sure.
I have it. You'd
you say?
what?
Interesting, because if I woke up and I was a dude tomorrow, I would not let my girl mates hit. Interesting. Acts misogynistically, says on a podcast that he's repulsed by certain types of vagina, and yet if he was a girl, he'd let dudes hit it. Interesting.
You guys are gonna have so much fan fiction written about you guys now.
Well, honestly, if anyone
I don't
out
think we
there
have
is
those
like
type of
watching
fans.
this and loves
They,
this,
I
please.
think you do. I think they would definitely fantasize over this.
People write fan fiction about you for sure.
I could write the fan fiction, and as part of my like Parodica series that I'm doing, if you wanted, of course, I'd be respectful.
I tried to look you up on Reddit to see if anyone. I'm like a huge Reddit person.
Oh, that can't be good.
No, no one says anything bad about you on Reddit, which is how I
Really?
know you're a comedian and not an influencer.
That might have changed.
Because influencers cooked.
Yeah, but people hate comedians now too. Like they
Yeah,
really,
but
they
not
really
the people
do.
on Reddit. I don't think.
Yeah, people hate comedians so much that like nobody goes to any comedy shows ever and no one sells out any comedy tours. And what do you mean people hate comedians? If people hated comedians, you wouldn't be able to go on tour for a year because no one would buy tickets and go to your shows. Behave. I understand hyperbole, but it's not helping his argument.
Well, thank God.
And I feel like
Reddit
you
is
guys-
a powerful
I feel like it's
community.
going back now to like where it used to be like everything's so offensive. I feel like everything's so woke now that people are getting like
The pendulum's definitely swinging back.
people are
That's so annoying that I thought that at the same time. I thought, yeah, the pendulum is swinging back because I've noticed it, especially on TikTok. People are getting more edgy and anti-PC and stuff. You know, I think it's best if people just do themselves rather than pander to what they think society deems acceptable in the moment. Like, speaks their own truth or whatever. Because, like, I don't know, I wouldn't say that I'm, like, totally PC. I try to be considerate. And there's things that like I'm accepting of now that maybe I wasn't like a decade ago, and that's just through unlearning ignorance of education, that type of thing. But you know, I'm not going to like sanitize what I say, just especially when you think of England. England is just full of Huns, not like Attila the Hun, but just it's definitely full of people that I'm not going to pander to.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
You can't. If you give them a little bit of wiggle room, they're gonna expect you to apologize for everything they don't like. And how privileged are you to think you never have to hear anything you don't like in your entire life? That's fucking insane. When someone's intention was just to make you go ha 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 ha. Like,
I think either Ricky Gervais or Stephen Fry said that, so he's not being original there.
I like parents that like make their kids have jobs. I have a lot of friends who like grow up with a lot of money, but like they have to work or they don't get an allowance. They don't get like what, and they still have nice things and stuff, but it's like not for nothing.
They also
no,
need
but
to
you have to
just
work for it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
experience a couple weeks of like only eating ramen and learning how to dap that shit up and make it fire.
Or don't do that to your child. Don't have them experience a few weeks eating ramen so they know the hardships. Like, don't make your kids deficient in nutrients just to hammer home a point, Tanner. Maybe leave off having kids for a few years if you think that.
Do you guys ever think about like the amount of trauma it takes for like someone to be funny or like be an entertaining person? Like, don't you feel like you have to give your kids some kind of something to like
Trauma?
to spunk them up a bit? Like, I'm afraid.
Spunk them up a bit.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to give your kids trauma so they're funny. You don't have to do that.
What if my kids grow up in like a healthy environment and then they're like fucking losers?
then they'll be healthy people and they'll be happy and they won't need to, I don't know, monetize their trauma to make people laugh. I don't know.
Yeah.
My friends would tear me to fucking pieces over an outfit or whether I looked a certain way, if I had a fucking pimple on my face.
Or if your audience is primarily female.
I'm going to roast my kid to death.
Absolutely, I'm
nobody's
bullying the
going
shit
to
out of
bully
my
my kid more than me.
Maybe also don't bully your kids and give them complexes. Maybe just treat them like human beings. Wild concept.
I think that a really good way to just get the ball rolling on that is to just give your kid a fucking awful name.
Gertrude's a good
Grandma
one.
names are coming back. Like, what if I had a baby right now and named it like Gladys?
No, apples or Pixie.
That's what I'm saying. Like Gladys, that's setting her up to get like necked in school one time, and that's good. She'll be funnier.
Or like,
That's good.
what's the bitch who named her kid Apple?
I just said that.
Do
All
otters have
koalas.
anything? Because I love otters.
I love otters, but I don't like the sound they make.
What?
What
They
sound
don't
A
do
make
they
little
make?
cute.
chirp?
No, it's not a chirp.
Yes, it is.
No,
it's so
it isn't.
cute.
It's not
My
cute.
dream situation is to have a house with like a giant wing of the house is like a giant indoor pool, and that's just where the otters live.
I love.
That's my exact same dream, except with penguins. God, he's not had an original thought in his life. Also, I was just distracted then because I was thinking it is weird that they had a whole dating situationship happen and he's come on here and is pretending that he doesn't know her. Like, that is weird. Imagine spending time with someone over like, I don't know, 2 months or whatever. And like getting to know them quite well, yada yada, and then they just act as though you're a stranger. That is very like, not that everyone needs to know their business, of course not. At this point, like, no one needs to know that they dated, but even just oh, actually we've met before, we've like hung out at the same places kind of thing. It's just weird.
What if, like, imagine Tana on a farm,
Like that's what I'm.
I can definitely see
that
that.
could be the rebrand as well.
like Simple Life.
Tana couldn't even go ice skating without screaming like a banshee. How would you work on a farm?
Yeah, I
You
feel
take
like
a
I
different
would
route,
get
it's
like
a
you'd
completely
never see
different
me again.
scenery.
Forests freak me the fuck out. Though.
Really?
They really do.
I'm definitely supposed to live in the woods for sure.
Really?
For sure.
Like cabin in the woods.
Definitely.
Like
Do you think this conversation is it's so dead that I've made a little like let's be real, posh pot noodle? Yeah, this is kind of dead, isn't it?
I know you're sick of people sexualizing you, but it would
But
be
that's
really
funny,
funny
though.
if you went down just the rogue bit of like doing the most random shit like for people to sexualize
Just
like
like
that.
opening soda cans or
Absolutely.
jars of pickles and shit like that.
Like knitting in a hot way, you know?
Oh,
like
that would
whole
be
nine.
cute actually.
Imagine he'd gone down that route instead of attacking the audience that got him to where he is. Imagine if he just went down the pandering fan service route instead.
We're happy to have you here. What are you doing the rest of your day? You were only free at this time.
I've got a friend's birthday tonight and I've got a show tonight and then I'm going to try to make it to a friend's concert. Are you guys familiar with Anise?
This is so dead that I'm just on Deliveroo looking up, well, food, obviously. What else would I be looking up on Deliveroo? Puppies? No. I'm just looking up food, right? Because, like, this hotel, it's nice and actually it's relatively inexpensive until you get to the room service menu. So I'm not paying £15 for a glorified salad. Not doing that. Not doing it again anyway. Fool me once, shame on you. But salt and pepper tofu, my favourite dish of all time, £9.20. Tofu only cost about £2 to shops. What do you mean £9.20 just for you to fry it a bit and put some peppers on it? Salt and pepper chips, delicious. £7. The state of Britain today. Freddo's gonna be a fiver.
His car. He was delivering for like Domino's or something like that.
I love
and he would
Domino's.
just sing in between deliveries.
That's
and I
cute.
saw him. He was so talented and seemed so cool. So I followed him, hit him up.
But salt and pepper tofu for £9 plus salt and pepper chips for £7. That's £16. So girl math, I'm only really spending like no, because it's not even like £15 for a salad here. It's like £15 and then there's the tray charge. So technically I would be saving money and be getting more food and more protein and chips. Decisions. And delivery is only 99p. So I would be saving money basically.
I'm about to
I
be
feel like my
25.
eggs are running out. I literally feel like if I don't have a kid tomorrow, now that you've said something.
No, you've got at least 10 more years.
By the time you're 12, most of your eggs are already gone, so don't worry about that. It's just misogynistic fucking talking points from fucking alt-right narcissists.
I think it's just scary that you can like blow up so big and now all of a sudden every little thing that you've done like years ago is going to come back.
Oh, it's so fun. People want you to die.
Which I am against. I'm against people dragging up stuff from like 10 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago. I don't know. I just completely blanked then. I was just thinking, when was 2016? For 7, you know, like even 2016, because the West Coast kind of went mad at that point. And I'm willing to be like, whatever, people can change kind of thing, you know. Even not to bring politics into things or to get too political, but even, you know, in 2016, if you don't know, we had the Brexit referendum at the time. I was like fiercely a Remainer, fiercely oh, if you voted leave, then you're probably racist, blah, blah, blah. And then I like knew some people that did vote leave, and I spoke to them about it, and I started listening to, and I was like, and I'm still in the camp of, well, it was a silly thing, like, you know, ridiculous. Like, what it's caused a lot more paperwork for a lot of things that were quite simple before. God, but I'm so detached from reality that I do kind of find it funny that we were like, we're going to go, and the EU were like, okay, bye, and we were like, no, we're really leaving. They're like, okay, bye. But even that, yeah, that happened in 2016, and I'm willing to, I'm not going to hold things against people from back then. Maybe that's quite a privileged thing to say, I don't know. Like, I just acknowledge that things were quite crazy, misinformation was everywhere. Some people said one thing, like some experts said it was all, you know. But what's funny is what he's saying now is what's causing him trouble. You know, what he said in the Netflix show happened this year, and it's caused, like, you don't need to drag up tweets from 10 years ago. He's saying dumb shit now, like, with no consideration to other people or to his fan base. To, like, don't even have consideration for other people. Consider your fan base and your demographic that got you that place in the like, that's what's entitled. Him expecting, no, because he doesn't want the women to stick around, does he? He wants to pander to men now for some unknown reason, because they are not going to buy your merchandise. They're not going to buy your stuff. They're not going to support you the same way the women do. What was my point? Something Brexit. Matt Rife caused Brexit. We don't need to look at stuff that Matt Rife was saying 10 years ago. We can look at present day Matt Rife.
Say, look, if these people don't get me and they want to make up who they think I am in their head, by all means. I'm not going to take time out of my day to change a couple hundred people's minds. That's insane.
I get him very well. He's a very insecure little man that can't deal with children, literal children, making fun of him on the internet. I understand him perfectly. That's why I don't like him.
Do you feel like you portray like a different persona online than you do like in real life?
Online or on stage? Because I think it's two different answers. Online, I would say. Do you mean like things that I post, or you mean like podcast presences?
Maybe like podcast presence.
Is she asking that because he was body shaming her vagina without saying her name on that podcast? Poor Brooke. Why does she have to sit through this and suffer this idiot?
I don't know. I have a Tesla. I haven't been at a gas station in so long.
I refuse to get a Tesla just because Elon Musk annoys me so much as a person. Did any of you see the recent press conference he did where he's been like, fuck off to the advertisers, and he said fuck off to the head of Disney?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f*** yourself.
Which, by the way, Elon Musk causing all of this stuff, saying all of this stuff, screwing up advertisers. There's whisperings afoot of an adpocalypse too, because, not just because, there's a few, there's this child protection law coming in next year, especially online, how advertisers aren't meant to be marketing to children, and this law is going to enforce that because it's been lobbied. But also, yeah, Elon Musk upsetting advertisers and mainstream media could help. Because advertisers are cowards, first and foremost. No one who's ever sponsored me listens to this next bit. They don't ever want to have anything rock the cradle. When an Elon Musk comes along and starts yapping and telling everyone to fuck off, it gets advertisers a bit like, oh, we don't want to spend money just in case Elon Musk tells us where. So thanks, Elon Musk, if that does happen. But also, that's a sign of personal growth. I had some rats, and I named my rats Elon Musk and Keanu Reeves. Like, one was called Elon, one was called Musk, one was just called Keanu Reeves. I went from that to now despising the man. Personal growth. People can change.
But a lot of people want to know if you've ever fucked a fan.
I never fucked a fan.
Yeah. Would you ever fuck a fan? Have you ever dated a fan?
I don't think so.
Liar.
But like an attendee of one of your shows. Have you ever been like, stopped by the Marriott down the street after?
No.
You know?
No,
do you stay in nice hotels or do you not?
Why is Brooke rolling her eyes?
My tour routine is so boring and not exciting. Like, people think because I have a massive fan base, that's a very popular question. Like, oh, I'm sure you fuck so many girls on the road.
Yeah.
I really don't.
I don't believe him.
Go, I'll do 2 shows. Now it's 1 a.m. when I leave the comedy club. I have to go home, probably edit for an hour, send it to my other editor to go over something, send it back to me. By that time, I'm so high and tired that I'm like, I'm good.
He's so busy that he was seeing 7 girls at once. Which, by the way, nothing wrong. Me like scarfing down this pot noodle being really unattractive. It's not even a pot noodle. It's an Itsu noodle. There's nothing wrong with dating several people at once, as long as everyone's informed. Then it's fine. He was saying to Brooke, I don't want you going on dates with guys. I don't want you even hanging out with boy mates. And yet he's seeing like 6 other women. Get a life, Matthew.
I just want to focus on that.
That's like, I feel like you are the outlier, though. I feel like most male touring acts at some point get kind of lost in the sauce and have a moment. You know what I mean?
And I get it.
I would love to know what's going exactly through Brooke's head, because she's like pulling these faces and Tana keeps looking at her while she's saying this. Brooke, come on my podcast and tell me what you were thinking in this exact moment at 49 minutes 44 seconds. Thanks.
Like sexy men.
Oh, that's true.
Like,
wait, you have a full female audience too, mostly, right? So
Yeah, it's slow.
Don't remind him of that. He hates it.
are you ever like,
It's slowly starting to even out a little bit. Like around like August, September of last year, when things started like to kind of pop off, it was like 90% women, 10% guys. Now we're closer to probably at least like a 75-25, I would say.
Well, hopefully you go to 99% men, 1% women. And we'll see how well your tours do.
But I'm also so thankful for having a female fan base, because nobody supports harder than female fan bases.
So what did you do? You spat all over them. What is wrong with you? Good Lord.
absolutely.
Like if they believe in you, like they will help push
They'll
you.
kill for you.
Yeah, and I love that.
Yeah, you clearly love it so much.
But they also turn on you faster than anybody else. So that's kind of
Is this foreshadowing?
I love boxing, so maybe something in that world. I love sports, and it's something that you can kind of learn at any point in your life. And
Would you ever hit a crossover? Like a comedian ex-boxer?
Yeah, but if you box and get hit, won't the filler explode?
maybe, I suppose, but I'm not into the whole like influencers fighting each other thing either.
Yeah.
So
Darn it,
no,
that was
not
my next
really.
question. I was going to
So
say, who would you
And
box?
Bro is so sensitive. He can't deal with a literal 6-year-old roasting him. How are you going to deal with people hitting you in the face?
Who do you hate? Come on.
That's the thing. I don't really hate
Give us
anybody. I don't. Here's a very humbling experience that I've. I guess epiphany that I've had recently, because so many fucking people hate me for really no reason, and it really made me realize that like people only hate somebody they're jealous of.
Here's a really humbling epiphany I had. People only hate me because they're jealous of me, because I'm that amazing. I think you need to look up the definition of humbling, and then the definition of epiphany, and then the definition of jealousy. I ain't jealous of you. I like my natural teeth.
Trying to wrap my head around. Do you think people who hate Osama bin Laden are jealous of him?
That's the best thing she said all year.
I'm not so much anymore.
I was trying to watch Brianna Chicken Fry
I
on
can't.
Theo Vaughn. I can't watch Brianna on Theo because I'm like, I want to be in her shoes so bad. I'm a jealous fucking ass bitch.
That's funny. I get like that with specific things and people and creators. I never feel that way about Emma Chamberlain. I see her on like, Hot Ones or whatever, and I'm like, good for her. That's nice. But then some creators, I'm like, I'm not going to name names or say who, but there's some people out there.
I feel like he would have
Just
you.
for a podcast.
Yes.
I'm sure you could get on his podcast. He just had somebody else with way less followers. I forget who it was.
I would love to, obviously. I am so weird like that. I'm crazy like
Tana Mojo goes on Theo Von's podcast. I'm going to hate her for all of 2 months.
I get in my own
But
head.
that
Like I
is,
could
like-
have the most like successful day, do my job so well, life is going so good, and then I see something like that, and I'm like, I am a failure, and I have to talk myself off a ledge.
I'm
It's like,
I've been feeling like that about Mr. Beast. I've been feeling like, oh God, I wish I had a net worth of 500 million and I could just, blow stuff up, and that's a video.
I have a question or conversation piece about that though. Like his podcast, everyone he'll say the most ridiculous things on his
Yeah.
podcast. He's literally said the N-word on his podcast.
I know, that's what I
multiple
was
times,
gonna say.
right? Nobody goes after him to try to cancel him. Nobody gets upset because everyone understands it's a joke. This is this is his
yeah,
comedic
and
character.
Theo
right?
just doesn't give a fuck.
Has he though? Has he actually? Because I've seen some people say this. I've not seen this so-called infamous clip of him saying it. That's an issue. If he had even as a joke, that's definitely an issue, right? But like this whole section just feels to me like Matt Rife is jealous that he can't say that word. that's some hill to die on, man. Like, get a life.
I want to find the group of people who doesn't get offended by shit.
Yeah.
Who's just there. Everyone comes knowing, hey, we're going to hear some outlandish shit. The same way your group chat, and whatever group chat you're in, would completely end all of your lives if it ever got leaked, right? I want my audience to feel like it's just one giant hangout, you know?
Those audiences exist, but be careful what you wish for, because it's not a fun place to be, fun people to hang out with. I've said this before on my podcast, but someone had some spare tickets to go see Ricky Gervais. Was it earlier this year? Was it last year? I'm not sure. It was sometime. Indefinite time period ago. And I had nothing to do. So I was like, okay, sure. I'll come along. I'll watch it. Why not? It's evening comedy and it's free. So I went along. And because Ricky Gervais has been jumping on the whole free speech online discourse, which, wild, that's still going on. There's this whole Stuart Lee bit about how Ricky Gervais, people like him because he says the things you can't say. He says the things you can't say on a Netflix show watched by millions around the world. The things he say, you just can't say them anymore. Yeah, like Stuart Lee has this great bit in it. I really like it. Now, the types of people who enjoy... Because, like, I won't lie, some of the act was fine. Had me laughing. Some of it was just lazy. Some of it was literally just him being like, people that are different from me, you know, and it was just kind of like tired, like eye roll, right? And there's a certain type of person who engages in that discourse, who complains you can't say anything anymore, who will go to support those shows. And I saw them, middle-aged men, arms crossed, not laughing at any of the jokes, clapping. Actually, I heard someone talk about this, how you don't want people to be clapping at a comedy show because clapping means they agree with you. You want people to be laughing because you're telling jokes. Clapping, not laughing, just looking angry, because those types of English men can't ever be seen having fun. Not in public, no way. They've got to have their piss warm Stalin shirts off when it's 16 degrees. There's a bit of sunshine peeping through the clouds. Brexiteers didn't vote leave twice for this kind of thing. Just, yeah, they were just sitting there, like, and I kept looking at them like a little corner of my eye, like, just to see if they'd laugh at anything. No, just angrily. Yeah, agree what he says about them LGBT, blah, blah, LGBT. Lesbian, gays, personal trainers. So, like, the audience is there, Matthew, but, like, don't complain if it's not what you think it is. And you can't just go around and say anything you want, and we've never been able to do that. You can't shout fire in a crowded hallway because there will be consequences if you cause a riot over saying words, you know? So it's all a bit of a moot point anyway. Do I think people go too far? Enlightened centrist. Do I think people do go too far on the left? Yes. Do I think people go too far on the right? Yeah, like, whatever. Like, he can make his bed, he can lie in it, but I don't want to hear him in 2 years' time complaining that, like, ticket sales are dried up because women don't want to go to his shows.
If you're unhappy about a joke, fucking cry to yourself. It's not our responsibility to dictate how you
about
feel.
This. I think you're gonna.
It's my entire fucking life.
You're gonna lead like the Me Too movement for canceled culture.
I might have to.
I believe in you.
I just think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, let's not water down the Me Too movement.
You know, but whatever.
Do you think they're bored? Because usually Tanner be yapping more and be interrupting more. I think they're a bit bored.
I think you can joke. There is not a single topic in the entire world you cannot make a joke about if it's done correctly.
Are you going to do it correctly anytime soon then, Matthew? Are you going to make it funny or original? I agree. I think there's loads of things. Like, there's loads of dark things you can joke about as long as it's funny and good.
I feel like one of the biggest things you do with your crowd work is asking people their icks. Right?
Used to be, yeah.
Yeah.
It's perfect chance for a plug, actually. So we're
He reminds me of someone, and I don't know who, but really, really insincere. Perfect time for a plug, actually. Interesting.
I want to know your icks. I want to know your red flag. I want to know your icks, not your red flags.
His icks. Apparently, most vaginas.
Lifestyle is the biggest turnoff for me, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I have no interest to be with a girl who's at the club every night.
No, you would rather they be at home barefoot in the kitchen cooking you a pie all day, right?
A morning person is a big ick for me. Please
Okay.
do not. You can be a morning person, but don't make me start my day with you.
I'm going to send that clip of Matt saying it's selfish if you want me to wake up at 9 a.m. with you. I'm going to send that to my boyfriend, who does comedy himself and hates Matt Wright. I'm going to be like, look, he gets it. Don't make me into a morning person. Why would I want to get up at 9 a.m.? Something to do. I think he has lip filler. I'm sure that people can have this naturally, but there's something that happens when you get lip filler, right? Where like it pushes this bit out. So this bit's zoom in a little bit more like this, and then these little kind of, you know, because you now got this filled, these sort of like indents up here. I don't really have it too much that side, but I definitely have it this side. Can you see? And I didn't have that before lip filler, and Tana's got it, Brooke's got it. I've noticed there's one influencer who says that she's never had lip filler, but then I noticed one day that she had those little things. And I think that's what it is. It's normal because, you know, you're inflating a part that previously wasn't inflated, right? So that's going to have a knock-on effect to some things. And I think in this little image, he's got it too. Now, I could be wrong because I'm sure naturally if you have full lips, you can probably, not me, Googling Matt Rife lips before. I could be wrong. I probably am. Actually, I don't know. If you look at pictures when he was proper dinky, could be wrong. I don't think I am though. It's like it's quite a specific thing that can happen when you get lip filler. So it's just something I noticed. Never mind. Probably not that important. Who cares?
And my sister will probably get some of that as well. She's about to have her second kid.
I saw your grandpa, your bit about
The way Brooke reacted then, do you think maybe she met the sister and so she was a bit like, and then had to catch herself?
yeah, honest. I'm being cremated with this in my hand, 100%.
Is it too dark to say? Tana, probably sooner rather than later if you don't stop vaping so much.
I'm trying to think of what the last book was that I read.
Not a reader?
I am, but very weird things. I love like Stephen King books, and I love history books.
Oh my god, Stephen King books. That's so weird. No one ever reads Stephen King. That's so incredible. Like that's just, why would you say that? It's so niche. Ugh. Stephen King, huh?
Oh.
So like the most fiction and the most true.
He's not like the other girls.
Well, Matt.
Tana.
I feel like they've ran out of things to talk about. I feel like the girls are bored.
They'll find something.
I don't think
they'll
we can
find
cancel you for
something.
anything
Fingers
on this
crossed they
episode,
do,
which makes
you know?
me so sad.
Oh, little do you know, Brooke.
No, I'm sure they'll take something.
Honestly, no. I'm about to get in the edit and chop and screw a bunch of words you said together. Like, I love Chris Brown. I'm buying him a house.
He said he hates Asian people.
You guys are the worst.
That was an abrupt ending. All right. I don't know why it's taken me so long to film this video. I've been sitting here for like 2 bloody hours. It was just a slog to get through. It wasn't that entertaining. It wasn't. He's so self-involved. So, ooh, cancel culture, and ooh, I want to be able to say the N-word. Like, behave. Be quiet. Just appreciate what you have. Stop like spitting in people's faces just because you feel insecure. Just because like your little comedian buddies are ribbing you because, oh, girls only like you because you're hot, or what, like whatever nonsense they're telling themselves. God, he's a very insecure individual. I've had enough. Anyway, that's all for this video. I don't know if anyone is going to get anything out of this. I ain't entertaining watching that boring rubbish. No hate to Tana and Brooke though. It wasn't their fault. I'm dizzy now. I'm so annoyed that I'm dizzy. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next time. Bye.